Now we're going to look at the 2D array, which is also called as multi-dimensional array, right? So what I'm going to do is I'll create one more class and say 2D array. Now, if we talk about the syntax of 2D array, like two-dimensional array, it will be something like this. This is two-dimensional. So then I'll gonna create a variable and say new, and then assign some value, something like this, right? So this is what the syntax of a two-dimensional array. Two-dimensional arrays are a little tricky as compared to what we have studied in one-dimensional. One-dimensional was very simple, right? So now, if I add one more bracket over here, this will now become as a three-dimensional array. So we need to add it over here as well, right? Now you must be wondering that what this 2 and what this 3 is. So you must be saying that like these are total number of rows and these are total number of columns, right? No, it is not like that. And in case of Java, in case, I mean, in Java, in case of arrays, these are not rows and columns. These are basically, if we talk about multi-dimensional array, these are arrays within the arrays. If I show you with that slide over here, this is what we have studied so far about basic array. Array are the collection of similar data types, right? And this is what we have seen in 1D array, the declaration and the initialization of array. We have seen different ways, and then we have seen the initialization using the loops as well. And now we are going to study about multi-dimensional array. So multi-dimensional arrays are nothing but the arrays of arrays where each element represents a single dimensional array. Each element as in right, if I talk about this variable, so we have two arrays over here. Two arrays as in the first array contains two indexes, and each index of this array contains three elements. So there are two indexes and both index contains three elements in each array, right? So I'm going to show it to you with the help of a diagram. What I'll do, I'll just open MS Paint. So it's like if I talk about the indexes, we'll first gonna pick this index, right? Because it starts from here. So this my array, this variable is assigned to the very first like index over here. So the very first, as in it will not gonna assign anything that is on the right hand side. It is gonna assign to this. This is your first array. Basically, if I show it to you over here, this is something like the first array which has two indexes. So this is the 0th index and this is the first index, and the variable my array is actually assigned to this particular index. Now if you look over here, so there are three elements, which is actually, there is another array stored at the 0th index of the first array, which again contains three elements, right? With the indexes 0, 1, and then 2. And same way, there is another array stored at the first index of the first array, which has again have three elements. So three indexes are over here as well. So this is the 0th one, this is the first one, and this is the second one, right? This is what we have defined over here. And in case I want to read the value of let's say second element of this index, uh, like the third element of the second index. So I'll be writing it something like my array 0 and 2. I'll be printing something like that. Or if in case I want to assign some value, I can assign it like this, a number like this. Right. Same way, if I want to read this value, if I want to assign some value to the first index of this array, so I'm going to do my array and this should be 1 and 1, and then I can assign the value like this. Right. So this is the whole crux that you actually need to understand for the multi-dimensional array. Right. So this is not rows and columns. This is like arrays within the arrays. And now if I want to assign values to each indexes of this array, I'll be doing it something like my array 0 0 equal to some value like 1, and if I say like 2 and 3, so 2 into 3, there will be 6 elements, so I'll be writing it like this. So here this will be the second index of first array, this is the 0th index, right, the first index, and this will be 0 1 2, this will be 1 0 1 2, right? So this is how the values will be stored. So here I can store a value something like 2 and then 3, then 4, then 5, and then 6. And in case, I mean, although I'm hard coding it right now, we can add it with the help of loops as well. That we're going to take a look at it, right? But before that, if in case I want to print some value, let's say I want to print this value, so I can simply print my array and the index is 1 1, and if I run this, you're gonna see that it will gonna print 5 over here, right? Now if in case you want to print the length of this array, how are you gonna print that? And then if you look at the diagram again, I said that this my array points to the first array, right? So if in case you print the length of this my array dot length, it should print you 2 only. See, it printed 2. Now if in case you want to print let's say this one, this array, so this is at the 0th index of my array, so how you're gonna print it? You're gonna say my array 0 dot length, and if you run this, you're gonna get the answer as 3, right? This is how you will be getting the length from each array, right, from a multi-dimensional array. And now if I I'm printing the value 1 by 1 over here with the indexes, I can print it with the help of loop as well, because we'll not be hard coding the indexes and printing all the values and getting all the values, right? So like the total number of dimensions we have, the total number of loops we need to create. If we have 3 dimensions over here, we'll need to create 3 loops. So for this one, I'll just comment it out, and I'm gonna create a for loop. First it will gonna run it for the first loop, and then the elements are starting from 0, and it should go my array dot length, and then I'm gonna say I plus plus. So this will actually gonna run for the very first array, right? And within this array, I'm gonna create another loop. I'll say for int, let's say j equal to 0, right? J is less than my array, and here I can give 0 as well, right? Or I can give I as well, right? So even if I give 0 right now, it will gonna give me 0 dot length and then I plus plus, so it will gonna give me the same results. I'll just show it to you. Let me run it, and then in this I'm gonna print my array and I and j, right? Something like this. So if I run this now, you're gonna see that from each indexes, okay, it has thrown some error at line number 30. So the error should be j is starting from 0. Oh, it should be j plus plus, right? I have given I plus plus. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So from each indexes, it has actually printed the value, right? So firstly, the outer loop will gonna work, and then the inner loop. So outer loop, first value is 0, and then the inner loop 0. So 0 and 0, it will gonna print the very first value. Then it will gonna iterate up till the length. So 0, 1, 2, and 3, right? And then it will gonna once we got the length as 3, then it will gonna go over here and we'll change it to 1, and then for the first index the 0th element will gonna work, right? So then 0, 1, 2, 3. But it may happen in Java that over here we have, let's say in the first we have 3 elements. In the second array we may have more than 3 elements as well. Maybe we have 4 elements. So if in case we have some such scenarios, then we should not give 0 over here, right? Because this 0 is a fixed length for this particular array, right? It may not be for this particular, maybe this has more than 3 or less than 3. So instead of this, we're gonna give I over here. So if I run this now, it will gonna give you the same results. But I want to print it in a tabular format, not in a single line. So what I'm gonna do, I'll just remove ln. If I remove ln, it will be printed in the same line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I add some space over here, something like this, then the spaces will be added after each value. Now this was inside the first array and this was inside the second array. So what I can do, after printing the first array 1, 2, 3, before printing the second array, I can put a new line over here, so that this should be printed in a separate line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, something like this, right? So this is what you can do. This is how you're gonna print the values from 2-dimensional arrays. So this is all about the 2D array. We're gonna understand it more. I mean, it will be more clear to you in the next lecture. We're gonna create 3D array, right? So we could have, I mean, any dimensional array created, 1D, 2D, 3D, 4D. You'll be capable enough to create 5D, 6D arrays as well, right? So this will be very easy. I mean, if you're able to understand the concept, how 2D arrays is formed and how 3D array is formed, then same way you should be able to create 4D, 5D arrays. Although practically we're not going to create it, but this will actually going to clear your concepts of arrays, how actually arrays works, right? So in the next lecture, let's take a look at 3-dimensional arrays.